the Widow's Grin. In this small, forgotten town, hidden in mist and shadows for decades, the townspeople claimed that the house breathed, groaned, and shifted in the dead of night. Local legends said so. It began with an uproar from inside the house. The occasional passerby reported hearing the deep, guttural hum of a woman's laughter, drifting out from the broken windows. It would rise and fall, echoing in a maddening melody that left those who heard it with a heavy chill that lingered for hours. They claimed it was the widow's spirit mourning her lost husband, who had disappeared long ago under the same sinister roof. One autumn night, 4 teenagers got tired of the stories. The tales were nothing but gossip and superstition of some small town, they had decided. And so, one of them dared the rest to enter the Widow's Grin. With their flashlights and nervous laughs, they crossed the rotten threshold of the house into a creaking silence that was broken only by the whispering of its floors. Dust floated there, taking on shadowy shapes that dissolved into the shadows as soon as the beams of the flashlights would catch them. Mark, the leader of the group, heard it first. A small whisper in his ear, just barely a sound, like a breath. He whipped around, his flashlight flickering against the bare walls, but there was nothing but the empty hallway behind him. "Come back," the whisper urged him, in a voice that was neither young nor old, neither male nor female. Mark shook his head and nervously laughed as his hands now began to tremble. The more they walked into the house, it was getting worse. The flickering shadows danced right out of their sight across walls and vanished when touched by the light. Walls pulsed as if breathing, and laughter became more deafening, filling up their ears and echoing within their minds. Then, one of them pushed through. Emily was at the tail end of the party and stumbled through the broken wood. Her shriek rose into the black air above as she plummeted into some unseen hole below. The others sprinted to the edge of the hole and called for her, but there was no answer. Only empty, suffocating silence. Panic set in as they frantically searched, but the house seemed to twist around them. Hallways stretched longer than before. Rooms they swear they passed already now presented strange, dusty relics. A cracked, broken mirror, a moth-eaten wedding veil, and a photo of a man with missing face, framed. Then they realized there was no way out. The house was a maze, where every path led them more into its dark heart. One after another, they were plucked away. James was the most silent of the group. He was next to be taken, and his flashlight clattered onto the floor as a pair of cold, bony hands dragged him from the shadows. They tried screaming for him, but their voices swallowed into the walls, disappeared into the darkness. Only Mark was left, hobbling through the winding hallways, the widow's laughter ringing in his mind, teasing him. There it was, a woman in the darkness, her face hidden beneath a long veil of black. She came toward him, the veil coming up enough for him to see her wide, gaping eyes, her mouth bent into a ghastly sneer. Her voice was low, her breath as cold as ice as she breathed into his ear. "Stay with me." The next morning, silence greeted the townsfolk outside the Widow's Grin. No laughter spilled out of its broken windows, no shadows shifted in darkened hallways. In the house, they discovered the 4 flashlights dropped in a perfect circle, but no sign of the teens. The townsfolk left the house untouched, believing the Widow's Grin had consumed 4 more souls to live within its accursed walls. And on certain nights, if you listen closely, you can still hear the laughter echoing through the trees, calling others in to join the lost souls who wandered too deep into the Widow's Grin. Like and share and follow for more updates.